looks like the time to toss the last coin is drawing in closer. Although, from the reports that are flying around, Season 4 of Netflix's Witcher might just have a chance to not be a flop. Confused, right? Me too. Because no Henry, no party. But apparently, there is a way for Henry's Geralt to exit gracefully. And not just that, but here's how the show can keep the storyline intact together too. Now, according to the showrunners, the show will be carrying a new energy.
The writers and I had so many different pitches for those lines. We really struggled with what to choose. I think part of the fun of The Witcher is that it does poke fun of itself, I think that's what makes it different than a lot of other fantasy shows. There's a tongue-in-cheekness to how we tell our stories, and certainly a self-awareness. I came out of season 1.
Sure, Henry's last dance is closer than you might think, but it's not going to be that bad, even if Henry leaves. Yes, the third season is expected to be released in the summer of this year, and not the usual holiday season. When precisely? Well, from what I have heard, maybe between June and August of this year. And now that we know that our boy won't be returning as Superman either, I think the only person excited about this recasting is the showrunner, Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich. And why wouldn't she be? I mean, she's the one who didn't let us have a Game of Thrones level of a series in the first place. So there's that. Anyway, Schmidt also said that Cavill will leave on a high note, as she told in an interview that since the actor has contributed so much to the show, the studio wants to adequately reward that.
But also, there are things that we knew that fans would want to see. There were other stories that we thought would best tell the stories of Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri. And then we basically just, for 20 weeks, that's how long we wrote the 8 episodes for, we banged our heads against the wall a lot, and then had a season of television.
She added that the main focus of Geralt's character change was about abandoning neutrality and going above and beyond to reach Ciri, even though it wasn't the way it was originally supposed to be. But hey, I'm all in if they give our White Wolf a proper farewell. Later, when the excitement to destroy the show was a little too much for her, she turned towards Liam Hemsworth. Lauren stated that Geralt in Season 4 will have a new purpose and will be a totally different person. Nadoy. But on the chance, if you're wondering how they're going to pull the transition off, there might be one way. Look, I'm not saying it's gonna work. I'm saying that there's a chance. It's tough replacing the main character of a show, and it will always garner a lot of attention. And considering the striking differences in looks between Cavill and Hemsworth, nobody's likely to miss it. Because of this, the Netflix series must exercise caution and appropriately handle the matter to avoid harming the public perception of The Witcher. And it's been so long since the departure news, it makes you think fans would be over it, right? Wrong. Fans are still quite frustrated since a recasting like this usually kills a series. Changing a character's look is a simple approach to disrupt the reader's immersion in the narrative. It could be hard to take the stern persona seriously when an instantly recognizable actor like Hemsworth is taking on the role. Netflix must thus explicitly address the issue inside the storyline in a way that viewers will genuinely like if they want to make this alteration popular with viewers. And what better way than to use Haskier as the bait? Comedy show now, are we?
Oh, you are always so emotional.
I do best. And what's that? Oh, I never really know. That's why I'm so good at it.
Despite being a dark fantasy series, The Witcher has a distinct, self-aware comic style that has so far been incredibly successful, with Haskier in particular, who frequently breaches the fourth wall by telling inside jokes to the audience. I say this might be doable. As I said, it's not the first time he's gonna be used as bait. This was demonstrated in The Witcher Season 2, when it was discovered that Haskier's well-known song had numerous histories, similar to the surprises in The Witcher Season 1.
He's after girl.
What? Why? What does he want with him?
I assumed it was to drink tea and eat crumpets and wax nostalgic over old times.
This style of humor, in a somewhat clever way, clues the audience to the joke, which is exactly how Geralt's casting change may succeed. The best course of action is for Haskier to make fun of the fact that Geralt, in The Witcher Season 4, doesn't look like Cavill, but rather Hemsworth. This might range from a brief aside on what The Witcher has done differently in terms of looks, to a long monologue that includes a number of real-world complaints from fans about the casting change. I choose the second one if I'm being honest, because they will have to make 4 different episodes about it then. And only then, maybe, the disputed casting modification would be permanently resolved, clearing the path for The Witcher to proceed. I don't think there's a better way to deal with the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the Witcher in the room. So, moving on, can the plot even let a transition slide? I mean, looks are no joke, man. We went from a scary perfect Witcher to a babyface Witcher who actually looks more like Haskier.
Unbearably crotchety and cantankerous.
Actually, I've always wanted to know.
Do witches ever retire?
Yeah, when they slow and get killed.
but the show might handle Geralt's shift in look in a number of various ways. It's simple to come up with unusual circumstances that might change how Geralt appears because the Netflix series is most obviously a fantasy. Imagine they change reality as they do in those MCU movies, because the showrunner did say that what happens in season 4 is not how it is in the books. You know what? While I'm saying all this, I'm actually kind of interested in finding out what they will do. Maybe they could do a straightforward explanation, like a spell that went wrong may account for the variations. Audiences would, however, see these kinds of justifications for what they are: excuses. Although Cavill hasn't stated why he left The Witcher, it's commonly thought that he was dissatisfied with the show's direction. This increases the pressure on Netflix to respond appropriately, because it could soon turn out to be the bad guy in this story. The tale would seem cheap if The Witcher made too many in-plot justifications for the casting shift. On the other hand, ignoring some of it may suggest that Netflix doesn't give a which honestly many of us already know. The ideal strategy for The Witcher's success following the Cavill casting issue would be to just make fun of it. But whatever they do, I think it's all meant to go downhill after season 3, because that is the closest we'll be getting to the source material. I'm not going to go too deep into spoilers, but like the first and second seasons, followed Sapkowski's The Last Wish, A Grain of Truth, and A Blood of the Elves arcs majorly.
I'm very satisfied to be here. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for coming. We would not be here without you, so that's the,
So, you know,
The third season will be venturing into the Time of Contempt narrative, so just know a lot of Geralt's most brutal fights are incoming, and according to sources, unlike the majority of the second season, it looks like we'll be sticking very close to the books this time, probably the closest yet. It's funny that they decided to do it after Henry left, because when he was saying that the show must do so, Lauren felt annoyed. Although it's no use crying over spilled milk now. We all know Henry's Witcher was too good to be true.
Yeah, we won't let that happen.
How's my singing?
It's like ordering a pie and finding it has no filling.
But even after all this, Liam might have bad news. Sources claim that it's unclear what the series' future holds. Season 4 is said to be currently under development. Beyond that, however, little more can be said with certainty. Moreover, many of the fans don't know, but the reason we get a season after such a long time is that Netflix often shoots the final 2 seasons of a show back to back.
Give me, my lord. This happens all the time. It's true. He has the face of a cat and a coward.
The same seems to be the case with The Witcher. Sources say that the show will come to an end with Season 5, which is also currently under development. So if the rumor is accurate, Hemsworth will only appear in 2 seasons of the series. But with the growing criticism of the show, I wonder if fans are going to be okay with the cancellation, because a lot of them believe that the show should end just after Season 3 instead of replacing Cavill. Having said that, that was all for how the fan favorite Geralt of Rivia can exit gracefully while keeping the storyline intact. Maybe.